Tonight's episode, That Was No Lady.
Hey, did you know that you could help support our future projects and let everyone know you're a fan of what we do? Check out our print-on-demand store. We have a tab here on YouTube. When you click on it, you can choose from a bunch of different items. We have shirts and posters and coffee mugs. Click on the one you like. When you find the design you want to put on it, choose a color and a size if it's appropriate. And when you purchase these items, a portion goes to help fund our future projects. We really do appreciate your support. You get some cool stuff. When you get that stuff, post pictures here and on other platforms, and we'll hook you up next time you order from our Gear website store. Thank you for your support of gunwebsites.com. All right, welcome everybody to our daily gun show. Come to you live every weeknight at midnight Eastern, and we talk about guns for an hour. We've got some plans for the show, so we do something different each day in order to incrementally achieve our goals for the show. On Mondays, we tackle motivation, how to be an activist, how to be part of the gun community. On Tuesdays, we talk about 2A, and we dig into a state, Second Amendment activists, and organizations, dig into those. It's an opportunity to talk about them and chat them up, share their successes and their accomplishments. Wednesdays, we have some fun, and we look at pop culture, guns and media, and our language, and our society, right? The way that guns are part of who we are as the United States. Then tomorrow we'll look at travel and training, and on Fridays we look back at the week and try to focus on what other people have done that are focused on what the Second Amendment protects. So today we're going to have some fun, maybe. So far we got Roy joining in. I don't know if anybody else is joining in. We do go live, and we do a gun game show every Wednesday. We call it the Tactical Quiz. It's kind of multimedia. Is that the right word? We have a website called tacticalquiz.com. You can go over there, and it's all kinds of different quizzes and I don't know what to call them. Different online, well, they're all quizzes, but they're different ways to challenge your knowledge of firearms history and awareness and trivia. And then we do this show on Wednesdays. We used to do some other things periodically or just kind of occasionally, and then started doing this show every Wednesday. We don't do the same show every Wednesday because it would be incredibly boring, and we think we'd run out of stuff to do. So we changed it up a little bit. Tonight, we're offering a quiz or a challenge about guns in Westerns. And here's the deal. It takes forever to set these things up. So I guess I could just say the questions out there. But at this point, we only got two people playing. We got Roy and G23 just said he should play tonight. All right, so I guess we're only going to have two players. So everybody had a chance here for the first 5 or so minutes to say if they were going to play tonight. Anybody can participate for sure, but if you wanted to be a player, it would have been a good idea to show up and play. So I think we're only going to have two players. Give everybody one more chance here with the lag. I guess I'll go to about 10 minutes. I'll give everybody another 5 minutes to say if they're playing or not. I'm putting stars next to their name. So we got Roy saying that it's not his area of expertise, but he's going to play. And G23 is also going to play. Here's the deal. I run the show live so that people have a chance to participate. I do it at midnight so that the people who participate either stay up all night or are doing the overnight shift, doing all the stuff that gets underappreciated and overlooked. The people that reset everything, clean stuff, fix stuff, build a lot of stuff, and reset the world, really. So if I can do this show live all night, that would be the goal. We do have a scroll going at the bottom of the screen there that thanks our Patreons, the people that subscribe to what we do. You'll notice there's on a bunch of advertisements. I don't have a giant prize or anything from a sponsor. Probably should. But, the goal isn't to make the biggest, fanciest show on the internet. I'd probably put it at a different time slot. The goal is to have some fun and to let those people who might be listening with headphones in the future or, like I say, on the job to have some fun too. So we'll give it another couple of minutes here for people who are showing up, although now we're just losing people. So I'm guessing at this point, no one's going to play. So we'll just start playing. So G23 and Roy, you guys are playing. Anybody else who wants to participate is free to give them answers, I guess. But this is for the people in the future, people listening at home, and just Roy and G23 tonight. So let's dig in. All right, so we have a bunch of different questions here. The first one is, and I probably, oh, you know what? I can do this. I can go in the movie, in the 1995 movie, Quick and the Dead. What type of grip did the lady have on her revolver? So we're going to start off with a good one. Now, people that are out there that ain't playing are probably going to just answer it for him. So one strategy that Roy or G23 could use would you just sit there and watch other people give them the answers, which is perfectly acceptable, I suppose. There's no rules, really. But Roy just knew the answer straight out. Bam, pearl handle. So there we go. G23 also knew. But we got the most accurate and first one from Roy Munson this time. All right, so next, I got to put Roy in front of there. And then I'm going to make these a different color, and then I will know right off the bat who is winning, I think. Okay, so, and then, yeah, there's only two of you guys. So once I put both their names in here, I can just, so I'm keeping track of this on a Word document tonight, just behind the scenes. Spelling will matter, but since it's just you two, whoever gives you the first answer first wins. All right, so I'm going to bump around a little bit. The movie Tombstone in 1993. The movie Tombstone in 1993 is famous for the gunfight at the OK Corral. If anybody wants to go to Tombstone, the OK Corral is still there. What was so interesting about that gunshot? Was it 20 shots in 20 seconds? A. Was it B, 30 shots in 30 seconds? Was it C, 40 shots in 40 seconds? Or was it D, 60 shots in 60 seconds? Which was the way to caricaturize the gunfight at the OK Corral? Was it A, 20 shots in 20 seconds? B, 30 shots in 30 seconds? C, 40 shots in 40 seconds? Or D, 60 shots in 60 seconds? Of course, Roy and G23 are the only one that showed up and said they're playing today, so they're the only answers that are mattering for the loot. Let's see, we got G23 saying B and Roy saying 40 shots in 40 seconds. Well, it's 30 shots in 30 seconds, so that means G23 gets that one. So I'm just going to do this. Copy and then paste, and then boom, we now know that this one has been taken, and who won. Boom. I just figured out a system on my Word document to figure out who to do it. All right. So the next question is from the movie Back to the Future 3 in 1990. It was a movie called Back to the Future 3. It's the Western of the three of them. It's from 1990. There is a guy called Mad Dog Tannen, I guess. I've only seen this movie like once. He's got a gun, and it's where? So the most accurate, most correct answer to tell us about, and I think this is at the end of the movie. We're talking about a scene when there's some gun control, and they take everybody's guns, but this bad guy, Mad Dog Tannen, hides a gun somewhere, even though there's gun control. What's up with that? And then, again, remember, nobody showed up to play today except for G23 and Roy. So they're the ones who are bringing in the big winning answers here. What type of gun and where was it? It was hidden. What type of gun and where was it? While we're waiting for them to answer, we go live every Wednesday and do a game show. We don't do it the same each week because then it would be boring, right? So we do a different game show if you got ideas. Oh, in the waist and his lower back from Roy, and we haven't heard anything from G23 yet. Small of the back, 1911. Well, you guys were both wrong. It was a not that. I'm going to leave it like that and keep my question. Ha ha ha. So I don't have to waste my question. It was not that. You're both wrong. G23 said small of the back, 1911. It's Back to the Future 3. So I think they were in the olden days. And then in the waist and his lower back. No. So I haven't seen this movie. It's possible that he has another gun in his waist, but the gun I'm thinking of is from the website I looked at, and it was a different gun in a different place. We're going back to the movie Tombstone, since that's better for you. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a thing here and question marks, meaning nobody won that one. Which will also indicate to me I can use that question again. Going back to the movie Tombstone, we talked about that they had 30 shots in 30 seconds. That's famously known. About how far apart were these guys during this gunfight at the OK Corral? Were they 6 feet apart? Were they 10 feet apart? Were they 20 feet apart? Or were they 50 feet apart? So how many feet apart were they? I'm going to do it like this to make it better. Were they 6, 16, 26, or 56? I think that's easier. Were they 6, 16, 26, or 56? It also makes it tougher to know. So, again, the way the rules were today, you had to show up and you had to say you're playing. So G23 and Roy are the only two playing tonight. If you're playing from home, hopefully you're enjoying this because of the way that we're presenting it. Hopefully it makes it so you can have a chance to come up with the answer and then answer it. G23 says 6 feet. Roy says 26 feet or 20 feet. The answer is 6 feet. These dudes were basically standing on top of each other, 6 feet away. So that means G23 grabs another one. And for those of you paying attention, I'm pretty sure he just took the lead with that one. And that's another Tombstone movie. We're going to bounce around to another one of my favorite movies, Outlaw Josie Wales. It's from 1976. In the movie, Outlaw Josie Wales, Josie carries guns. What guns does he carry predominantly? What guns does the outlaw Josie Whale carry predominantly in 1976? The movie. So this is a movie about a dude from the Civil War, right? I think he was in the Civil War and he goes home, and he was in the South, right? He was the South of the Civil War, and then he's minding his business at home, or he was doing something. And then this one asshole comes along and burns his house down and kills his wife or something like that. And then now he's pissed. And that dude figures out that he's doing war crimes, just burning down people's houses like an asshole. So he books to Texas because that's where assholes book, I guess, back in the day. So Outlaw Josie Wales is like, well, you know what? I'm going to just go kill that guy. So he follows him into Texas. Is that how the movie goes? And starts killing him. And it's a good movie. It's a really good movie. Hangs out with a bunch of people, does some stuff. It's a really neat movie. Sorry for the interruptions. I had no idea this dog would be sneezing so much. So G23 says 245 Colts. Why are you sneezing so much? I think she was sniffing something. She shouldn't have been sniffing. 245 Colts, and Roy is saying he's never seen it. Well, I don't want to say 245 Colts because I'm pretty sure they ain't 45. So that's tough without Roy giving an answer. That's tough for me. For me, it's challenging because I don't know what to do with this one. So the caliber of the thing in question is actually not 45. We'll leave it like that. So it's not accurate to say 45 Colt. I'm going to call it a draw because here's the deal. There's no rules. If you find somebody else who's doing a weekly gun game show, then you can tell them to tell me about the rules. But otherwise, I'm leaving that question for later. Let's just say that Roy didn't answer it and G23 got it wrong. So it's going to just lay there and be an answer that some of you think you got it right. Some of you think you know what it is. You know who's really to suffer here? The people at home that aren't going to hear the actual answer because I'm cheap. I went around looking for these quiz questions every week. I'm not just throwing them out there. So I'm going to keep that one. So remember, maybe that's something that somebody who knows this one is banking it for a future quiz. You never know. We're going to bounce around to another movie called Magnificent Seven, but we're not going to go to the good one. We're going to go to the lame one from 2016 because even though Westerns are cool movies, not all Westerns are good. So Magnificent Seven, 2016. There's an actor called Chris Pratt. Does Chris Pratt carry, well, what is the number of guns that Chris Pratt carries in the movie Magnificent Seven from 2016? So we got G23 and Roy playing today. You can vote for who you think's going to win if you feel like it. We have a poll going. I forgot about the poll. Let's go look at the poll while we're letting G23 and Roy answer the question. In the Magnificent Seven, 2016 bad version, Chris Pratt, the actor, how many guns does that guy carry? This is a bad way to say it. Does he carry one gun or two? Let me put it that way. Because I don't know if he carries more guns, and I haven't seen the movie. I didn't like it. I only seen it one time. So I'm just going to say, does he carry one gun or two for most of the movie? Let's put it that way. And if it's more than that, then that's a technicality that I don't know. But we're saying, is he, in general, single gun dude, two gun dude? I'll let Roy re-answer because he answered 3, and I didn't want to. He might be right, and I don't know. So I'm going to go to the poll. Oh, I guess I don't have to go to the poll. G23 answered 2. Roy answered 1. Now we have an actual challenge. It's 2. So he carries 2 guns. That goes to G23. Put over here, go to here, hit enter, do this, bam. I figured out a really good way to keep track of score. I wish there was more people playing today. Everybody had the opportunity. Only 2 people chose to participate. But what are they going to win? I don't know. Probably cool loot because I know both of them. So more loot people who I know they are. And they played before. And G23 hosts a show, so automatically it gets more stuff. Let's see. So what's the best guns, not the best movie, best guns in a Western from this list? Because YouTube only lets me put 4 things in there. Which of these movies had the best guns? Not the best movie, but the best guns. Was it Silverado from 1908? Whatever that means, 1980 something probably. Was it Outlaw Josie Wells from 1976, we just mentioned? Was it Young Guns from 1988? Or was it Tombstone from 1993? So these are all, it's Josie Wales a little bit earlier, but these are all kind of 80s movies. Tombstone is 93, but that's effectively the 80s. Which of those is the best guns? Which of those movies had the best guns? So you can vote in this poll, even though G23 and Roy are the only 2 that stood up to the plate to participate in the contest, the quiz tonight. You can still participate in the poll. I've made an arrangement with YouTube that anybody can vote in the poll. Let's go to the next one, which would be from the movie Wild Wild West, 1999. So here's a bunch of people sitting around moping because they didn't get here early and say that they want to play. So you can answer this question. Is Wild Wild West from 1999 with Will Smith a good movie? Question mark? That's for everybody. But that's also subjective. So let's ask a more real question to the 2 people that are playing today, the 2 contestants. G23 and Roy. Captain Jim West, who was played by Will Smith, he carries what kind of gun? And for extra credit, which will give you a second bonus point, really, what's unique about his gun that he carries? So Jim West, who's played by Will Smith in this version, carries a gun that is, I believe, different than the gun carried by the guy in the TV show, which was way better. So nobody's mentioned this, so I guess no one's either seen this or nobody has an opinion on the Wild West one. So this is a movie from, I guess, whatever year it says, 1999, and I don't know. It was not good, but it was not as bad as some people say. It was based off the TV show, which was awesome. I don't know how many people watched the TV show, which was effectively James Bond mixed with Long Ranger, and that was from, like, I don't know, the Brady Bunch days, I think. So the 60s or something, maybe the early 70s, maybe. I don't really know. It was reruns when I was a little kid. And that show was awesome. So this James Bond guy would go around in a train car, I think. Or maybe somebody else went around in a train car and he would just go hang out with the guy in the train car. I don't remember. But he would, hang out in a train car on different trains in the Old West, being a James Bond type of character. And he'd every once in a while he had a gizmo, I think, and then he was like a spy. It was a lot of stuff you needed spies for, it turns out, in the Old West. So they had a whole show about that. And then they made a movie about it. And the show was good. The show was pretty good. It was definitely far-fetched, but all right, I think we got answers. So the question was, James West, the main character from the movie Wild Wild West 1999, is played by Will Smith. What kind of gun does he carry and what's so good about it? So I think he's saying it was okay. I've seen it a couple of times, and he says Colt Navy. And G23 says black powder Colt. This is interesting. So I'm going to let you, since you both attempted but missed. Here's the deal. It's a Colt 1887. No, it isn't. It's a Colt 1860 Army. So the difference between a Colt Army and a Navy is, that's right, $1 worth of engraving at the time. So they're the same gun. So you're wrong, but you're not really wrong. And it is a black powder gun, and it's made by Colt. So you're not accurate, but you're not wrong either. So both of you are like not completely accurate, equivocally, like equally. And since nobody else is playing, I got no reason to make a knife fight over this one. So if you can come up with what's so good about that gun, that'll be the tiebreaker. Otherwise, we're also going to just move on. So you can choose to ignore that or try to grab those points, which are right now laying on the table. Again, I'm going to go back to, if you don't like the way I make up rules for this quiz, then I would suggest you go to the board of people who monitor weekly gun game shows and complain a lot about how I run this show. And then they'll come at me with their lawyers and whatever, and we'll take this to court. I don't care. So I guess we'll keep moving. So the next one, chambers multiple different rounds. Oh, that's interesting, but no. That was a good attempt, though. You don't lose points for guessing. We're going to go back to the Magnificent Seven. In the movie Magnificent Seven, Denzel Washington carries a pistol. It carries... Okay, let me ask it this way. In the movie Magnificent Seven, does Denzel Washington carry one gun or two? There we go. How about that? I don't know if you've seen this movie. 2016, they came out with a badder version of the Magnificent Seven. What's the Magnificent Seven? I think the Magnificent Seven is the Seven Samurai, except cowboys instead of samurais. Seven Samurai is a cool movie about a little town that gets wailed on. So they hire seven samurais who don't really know each other, but are Ronin, kind of, and they come together and teach a town to defend itself. What? Sort of like the United States. Yeah, they teach the town to defend itself, and then the town realizes that it didn't need the Ronin. It just needed to learn how to fight and defend itself. So it's a pretty cool movie. The Seven Samurai is amazing. Got to watch that one if you've never seen it. That guy invented cinematography or something. And then the remakes of it, there's a whole bunch of them. They're not that good, but they're different and it's interesting. So that back in the day they made, I think it's like Yul Brynner and stuff in the Magnificent Seven. So it's an old Western from like the Brady Bunch days. This new one is from 2016. And the question was the Denzel Washington character, which I didn't write down who that is. Does he carry one gun or two? And what came up with G23 saying one revolver and Roy saying two. Well, the answer was two. So Roy got that one. And now that goes to the next question, which I was actually asking and then figured out if I asked it that way, I would answer this one. Does he carry those revolvers drop leg or cross draw? He's got two revolvers on. We've already established that. Roy knew that, and he won some points with that one. Now the question for G23 and Roy, who are the only two that are actually playing tonight because they're the only ones that showed up and said we're playing. Does he carry those revolvers drop leg? Meaning, you know, for like a cowboy, they would drop them down their legs. So if they're wearing a coat or something, the guns were down on their thighs. And that way, if they're riding a horse or something, or maybe in a wagon, the guns aren't all up in their waistline, right? Like an appendix draw, effectively useless when you're sitting down. Or did he have them cross draw, effectively across, so you had to grab your left gun with your right hand? Well, they both said cross draw, so that's a tie. I don't know what to do. So I'm going to go with Roy said it first. Boom, that's what happened. Again, if you have issues with the way that I score the weekly game show that we come up with every week, thanks to our Patreon, so give us time to do it. Then take that up with the weekly gun game show advisory panel and then complain to them. There's a movie called Young Guns. A lot of people like it. There was a caricature called Billy the Kid in that movie. It's played by Emilio Estevez. And there's something unique about the guns that guy carries. I know that they change throughout the movie. So what's the characteristic about the guns that Billy the Kid carries? Now, here's a question for the rest of the people, because really, we're only watching G23 and Roy battle it out. Effectively, Roy and G23 are in a ring, except instead of throwing punches, they're throwing gun Western trivia knowledge at each other. They're fighting with the weapon of Western knowledge, movie knowledge. But for the rest of you, is that a real thing? Did Billy the Kid actually carry these? It's probably something I could know because it's New Mexico history, but I'm in Arizona and I don't really care that much about Western history, so I don't know it. I may have known it, but I didn't remember it. So there's something unique about the guns that Billy the Kid carries around in the movie Young Guns, and G23 said pearl handles. It's not that. So Roy hasn't answered. Nobody else is answering, probably because they're scared. They feel like, oh man, I should have showed up at the beginning of the show and then I could have been participating for real. I could have had skin in the game. I could have been playing for fantastic prizes, loot, and they'll be able to go around tomorrow, act like a big shot because I won the tactical quiz. Oh, yeah, I don't know why you didn't, but whatever. So now we're waiting for Roy to answer. G23 is not going to win with pearl handles, but I don't think there's a rule that says you can only answer once. So I guess, okay, Roy is saying he doesn't know. So we'll leave that one. That's fine. Well, it's still sitting there. So if G23 wants to scoop it up, feel free. If Roy wants to go back, try scoop it up. It's still sitting there. Let's stick with the Wild Wild West, which I believe we had a wild card there too, right? I'm going to leave that one. The girl in the Wild Wild West. What? There's a movie with a girl in it. Yep. I don't know how to say her name. I think her name is Mutina. I don't know. What's unique about her gun? Either what's unique about it or what kind of gun is it? The gun that the girl carries in the movie Wild Wild West, 1999. Now, would this have been way more quicker? Would there have been more people fast on the draw with the answers if there was a whole bunch of people playing? Probably. Front sight was filed off? No. Well, you're not playing. And G23 says modified 44? No. It's a Derringer? Nope. Good guess, but no, it's not a Derringer. So again, this is a movie that's sort of like a James Bond guy in the Old West, but it's a movie, so it's it's not a TV show. They tried to cram way everything they've ever done in the TV show into the movie, which almost never works. So, there's stuff that happens. I think it was also multiple seasons. So there's stuff that happens to the character of a TV show over, the plot of a season or more seasons. So there's going to be stuff that they're never going to be able to get across in the movie. So the best they could do is try to pay tribute to the TV show, I figure, but they really just tried to go nuts in that movie. And I don't know if it's a Will Smith thing, if the actors just figured, we're just going to do what we want, or if it was just the style of the time to just not really, I don't know. So anyway, it was a weird movie. A lot of people don't like it. I'm not going to say it's a good movie, but it is interesting because you don't see too many crazy James Bond type of movies about the Old West with like a giant mechanical spider. It says Henry 1860. No. So that would be like a rifle? No. And we're not getting anything from G23. Said modified 44. So I don't know if that was the answer to this one or not. But the answers I was looking for were not those answers. Oh, he says Smith & Wesson Schofield Model 3. Okay, well, I'll take that. And that would go to then G23. So yeah, she had like a break top Schofield. So it's an interesting gun. And it's something, if you watch the movie, you right away go, oh, that's a break top. Big chrome plated break top. There's a movie called Back to the Future 3 that came out in 1990. We talked about it earlier. The Doc, not at the end of the movie, but at the beginning of the movie in 1955, he fires a gun. What kind of gun does he fire? In the 1955 scenes of the movie, what gun does the Doc, Christopher Lloyd is the character, the actor, what type of gun does he shoot? He fires the gun. He shoots the gun in the movie. Yep, there's a movie about somebody shooting a gun. Luckily, it's about the past, which is also the future for the part of the movie that's even more in the past. But it was still a gun being fired in a movie by Doc Brown, and it is played by Christopher Lloyd. And if I had a co-host for these shows, I could be having banter right now. I could be saying stuff. So instead, what we're going to do is a commercial for your website store. It's a place where we have things you can buy them, things we make, things that we've made live in front of everybody. Part of these conversations.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
And big thanks to the people that do purchase stuff over at the store. Helps us continue to do what we do. We've got Colt Single Action Army, and then G23 came in with Winchester Model 1866 Yellow Boy. I don't know if she actually carries one of them, if he actually carries one of them, but I do know that he does carry and shoot Colt Single Action Army. So that one is going to Roy. Now, does anybody think they know who's winning this one tonight? I don't think I can keep track. I know I've copied and pasted both names a bunch of times. Are we done? No, we still got questions. I make up a bunch of questions each week, and sometimes I stack them and make 20 questions or something one week and then 10 each week type of thing. Or sometimes there's more than 10. Sometimes we've gone through 30 questions in a week. Kind of depends how many people are in, how fast the game's going. Again, this is for the people that show up live in the middle of the night. Thanks for joining us. And also the people that are listening in the future. We take this broadcast, which will render into a video on YouTube. And of course, it sits on YouTube on 2 different channels. And then it's sitting on Twitch as well. It's another hosting platform for streaming like this. Nobody really participates from Twitch. It's a place for video gamers. So I don't really video game ever at all. So I guess it's not something that they flock to, but we put it over there. And then we think it's a tie. Does she also have a Yellow Boy rifle? I probably should have said like at the end of the movie or something. All right, well, I forgot where I was at. All right, so now we're going to go to the movie Silverado, another movie that people dig from 1985. In that movie, Kevin Costner is one of the people in the movie. Does he carry one gun or two guns? In the movie, 1985 movie called Silverado, Kevin Costner, does he carry one gun or two guns? What's weird is I can see the answers coming up on the YouTube side, and then they come up on the other side. It's always more fun when you guys don't have the same answer when there's just two of you playing, because that way, it's for sure. It's an actual difference, right? One of each shows one number, the other one shows the other. In this case, Kevin Costner carries two guns, so G23 wins that one. Well done. We're going to head down to a movie called Young Guns. We've talked about it before. This time, the character Doc, who is played by Kiefer Sutherland, uses a long arm in the movie. And what long arm does Doc, or Kiefer Sutherland, what does he carry in that movie? What kind of gun? It's a rifle. What kind of rifle does he use in the movie Young Guns? Young Guns from 1988. I remember liking that movie, and then, wait a minute. Yeah, I watched that movie, and I was like, all right, that movie's all right. And then I moved out here to Arizona, and I've liked that movie less and less and less. Not because I don't like the movie, but because the old-timers out here who really care about Westerns and stuff don't really ever pay any attention to it because it's kind of silly. So, I don't know, just it never comes up in the conversation, so it gets kind of kicked to the curb. So it's not that it did anything wrong, it's just that it didn't stand out. So I don't have a problem with it, but it's also about New Mexico. Maybe people in New Mexico watch it more. Snap, that went pretty quick. So the question was, Doc, from the movie Young Guns, what kind of long arm does he use? G23 said Winchester. And Roy said Sharp's 1874 Cavalry Carbine, which is exactly what I have written here. So, Roy. Let's see. I was saying something about the... Did I say something about the store? Thanks to people that purchase stuff from the store. If I didn't, thanks for that. We've got the movie Outlaw Josie Wales. We mentioned it earlier. It's one of my favorite movies. Who carries a Colt Army with a Richards conversion? I'll take the actor's name, I'll take the caricator's name, or a description of the character, because most people aren't going to know the character's name, probably. You might know the name of the actor. He's cool. But, hey, I didn't say you can't Google it. Maybe he DuckDuckGo'd it instead of Google, which tracks everything you search for. But the movie Outlaw Josie Wales, somebody carries around a Colt Army with a Richards conversion. So a Colt Army, right? We've talked about them throughout this show. There's a Colt Army and there's a Colt Navy. The Colt Army is the first one. It's like a delicate version of the older Colts. It's a smaller, refined version of the older Colts because they got their shit together. They didn't need so much metal anymore. And they weren't shooting, real calibers anymore. So they're just shooting smaller calibers, and it can be a smaller gun. But then these are black powder guns. These are, you're stuffing them with cartridges or with black powder and caps and cramming balls in there. You got to worry about chain fires. You got to worry about just wear and tear when you got these cylinders laying around when you're carrying them and stuff. So at some point, the guy comes up with this idea to make a conversion to make them shoot cartridges. They create a loading gate. They put a firing pin to transfer from the hammer. It's a pretty neat little conversion. And you can tell by looking at them because the cylinder looks a little different. And there's a loading gate. So we're talking one of the characters in Outlaw Josie Wales carries that gun. And G23 says Clint Eastwood. It is not Clint Eastwood. And that would be Josie Wales. I know that guy's name. Everybody knows that guy's name, I think. But the name of the character who it is, most people don't know the name of. They just say a thing. And then he's got a name, but he also has a real name. And some people know him by his real name because he's in other movies and he's just a cool dude. Little Moonlight. I don't know what that means. So, yeah, I really don't know what that means. Is that the girl? If that's the girl, then we got 2 wrong answers, which will nullify it, and we'll move on. I think we've got another one. No, I'm not going to use that one because I don't even know the answer. So we have, I think, just one more. From the movie Silverado. Yeah, that's the girl. Okay, yeah. So no, it isn't. G23 says Chief Dan. It is Chief Dan. So we're going to give that one to G23. He sneaks up on him and he goes, remember how they're like sneaking up on each other? And he's like, oh, I shouldn't be able to sneak up on an Indian or whatever. He's like, oh, an Indian can still sneak up on you or whatever. That's when he's, he cocks it and everything. So you see it really close up. That movie Silverado we talked about from 1985, which is, wait a minute, is Silverado also about the Billy the Kid and everything from Young Guns? I forget. Or Silverado just fake? I don't remember anymore. Same thing with Silverado. Even more so with Silverado because it wasn't even attempting to be a historic piece, right? Silverado was just being a Western. It was all right for what it was. But anyway, there's a Enfield Mark II revolver in the movie Silverado. What's the name of the caricature or the name of the actor who uses an Enfield Mark II revolver in the movie Silverado? And then while you're answering that one, I'll just double check that there's any other questions tonight. That would have given us, well, that's 41 minutes with just 2 people playing. I technically have one more question, but I don't really know the answer, so I'm not going to ask it. I guess I had put it in here, but I didn't ever verify it. Pretty even looking thing. I think it'll be interesting. So if anybody who's not playing and wants to, oh, snap. So Roy came up pretty quick with Sheriff Langston, whatever his name is, but yeah. John Cleese, who I sometimes like in movies and sometimes I don't like him in movies. So if anybody out there wants to guess on who they think is going to win, was it G23 who showed up earlier and said, yeah, I'll play? Or is it going to be Roy who also showed up earlier and said, yeah, I'll play? Everybody could have played. Those are the 2 that decided to play. So thanks for playing. We had a bunch of different questions. I'll start adding them up here in a second, and then we'll know for certain who's winning. Damn, what are we playing for tonight? Why don't we play for some printed stuff? I've been printing out some pumpkin dudes and some bayonets because I should have probably come up with the prize before the show again. Or if you got something else in mind, let me know. Like if you got a patch or something. Let's see. So you're saying he won? J23 is saying he won. Baron is saying Roy won, I think. And Screaming Skull is saying Roy won. So we got some votes over here for the best guns in a Western. That was Outlaw Josie Whale winning, with Tombstone coming in second, Silverado and Young Guns tying, which is weird because if I was having this conversation with Matt and all the people that hang out with Never Enough Ammo, they can't get enough of Silverado and Young Guns. So they'd definitely be voting for those. DMR is taken off. All right, so now let's add it up. Roy has 1, 2. Let's go. I can do the screen sharing so everybody can see this is all legit. It's not like one of them scam weekly gun game shows where they scam everybody. This is legit. So here we go. We're bringing this over. I can make it even bigger so everybody can see it. No scamming going on. Roy has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. So boom equals 6. Now we'll do G23. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The hell? Come on, man. Now I got to do something. So let me go through and do this again. I got to shrink it to make sure it's not a factor of being zoomed in. We got 1, and I'll do this. See how I can do that? 1, 2, 3, 4, officially 5, 6. That's 6. That's 6. Now we'll go through and do the same thing with G23. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Damn it. 6. Curses. I'm counting the number of people who won the thing. So we got a tie. Somehow we got a tie. And I don't know if there's any way to have a Western quiz and then figure out a way to have a tiebreaker for a Western quiz. Well, I'm going to let the audience decide. So a bunch of people in the audience right now are super butthurt. You can just feel the waves of butthurtness because they didn't get to play today, because they didn't feel like showing up and saying, I'm going to play. That's all you had to do. So we're going to end this poll, and we're going to just shirk the responsibility. I'm going to act like a politician, and I'm going to take the responsibility of figuring out, the mess we got ourselves into, and the mess you all got yourselves into. I just was minding my business, creating a Western contest, and then we got into this predicament. It's not my fault. I better grab this really quick. And then instead of having to come up with my own solution to the situation, I'm just going to put it out to the rest of the world. So who wins this war? Is this going to be a battle of who has many troll accounts? Who has bribed more people for favors? Who is going to win? We got G23 and Roy. Both got 6 points. Boom. Battle to the death in front of everybody. Oh, wait. I hit the wrong button. Boom. Battle to the death in front of everybody. So this is what happens. When a lot of the other shows, when they do a weekly gun game show, and you've seen this so many times on the other channels that do these weekly, that what happens is they have established polite procedures where, attorneys are brought in and everybody wins. Both people would get a trophy, right? Not here. Here, it's effectively a street brawl, except that y'all are the ones brawling. And at this point, G23 and Roy are just watching the chaos. I'm over here editing the conclusion to that poll, so now everybody has it. In the future, a lot of people will use the results of these kind of shows to, I'm not going to say wager as much as the same way that people read tarot cards and things like that today. In the future, they'll use the results of tactical quizzes to foretell their future. So it'll be a little bit like horoscopes. Okay, so who wins this war? We have 5 votes, and G23 is slaughtering Roy. I don't know what Roy did, but he's getting slaughtered right now. I don't know how many people plan on voting. Is co-winners 2 9mm? Come on, man. Is this Europe where everybody wins? Everybody gets a trophy. No. This is America. Where's capitalism? Did G23 pay off everybody? I don't know. Did Roy not pay off enough people? I don't know. Maybe if Roy hosted a show every Saturday for many hours, then he'd have a bunch of votes also. But we turn this from a battle of skill and knowledge and technical proficiency, because these guys are probably, I don't know what they're doing, driving big rigs down the highway, scooting around on motorcycles. I don't know, but somehow they're able to go in there and participate in the quiz while they're doing whatever they're doing in real life. And now this is all of a sudden battle to the death with everybody else's thumbs. So Roy voted for G23, a true act of sportsmanship. Let's see. Football has ties and sports has ties. Yeah, exactly. I don't wear ties around here. We don't expect our audience to wear ties. We're not going to expect our winners to deal with ties either. So I think we already got something going on with G23. If he's got something in mind, otherwise, man, I don't know. I probably should come up with the prizes before the show. I'm trying to think of what I got here that G23 don't got that might want. G23 voted for himself also. Oh, snap. So at this point, I don't know. We'll go to 10 votes. We'll go to the top of the hour. Here's the deal. I can't go much past the top of the hour because I've had some complaints from the neighbor tenants, the neighbor time slot, where I wear everybody out. I get them all hyped up and excited so that when they go to the next show over, right? When this show's over, they got nowhere to go. So they go to the next show over. They're all exhausted. They're all tired and they've had all their fun for the night. So they just go unwind over at the other show. So I've been asked to just get everybody all hyped, feed you a bunch of sugar, and then let you go to the next show, all, jumping and giggling. So, yeah, it's called the Mouse Party. It happens after this one. It's hosted by Foss. Aaron is out here, is co-hosting it. It's not unscripted. It's long format, and it's overnight. Again, for the people that might be up in the middle of the night and the people that are up in the middle of the night, resetting the world, fixing everything that gets broken, doing all the stuff that doesn't get appreciated during the day. The stuff that people take for granted. Oh, I thought the floor just cleaned itself. I thought that everything here gets emptied on its own. Nobody's voting. So by default, Roy's going to end up winning by a crazy rule. No. We'll just leave it at G23 winning because he's obviously made a bunch of agreements with a bunch of arrangements with different people, at least 5 different people out there. He's made agreements with arrangements, favors were made, so to speak. Maybe he's paying off. Maybe past favors had been called in. We don't know. But we're not getting any more votes, so we won't make the people at home suffer. We'll end this thing. Hold on, I got a cough now. Well connected, exactly. So we're going to start wrapping up. Thanks again to the people that show up live for playing and for participating. And if you thumbed it up, I don't really care. I never really ask about that. But if you do want to encourage the mechanisms to value the things that you value, you got the power. You can be an observer, in which case they're going to watch everything you do and appreciate it, and you're just a cog in the machine. Or as you're out there watching stuff, doing things online, realize that your voice matters, and your voice is often a click or a share or a thumb or one of those kind of interactions with the platform. Here on YouTube, it's thumbs up. It's got that little bell or something, I think now, and then the subscribe button. None of them are magic, but participating in those, understanding that you actually have influence and power. Seriously do. Like, a lot of people don't think the drop is responsible for the flood, and those aren't people that understand how things work. So when you're using these platforms, again, I appreciate the people that participate. I don't really care if you participate with ours, but the people that participate, it does matter. And those people out there that are doing good work don't have the time, inclination, sometimes even the ability, definitely not the time though, to worry about the recipes and the things that can be done on these platforms in order to have the best effect. So those of you who help them in spite of the fact they're not the fanciest or the highly produced or the topics that are trending, those of you support those folks are really the grassroots, the blades of grass that everybody talks about. So thanks for being there and doing that. That being said, we didn't get any more votes, so we'll end it. And G23 wins, but Roy can know that possibly those 4 votes would have tied it up, and he could have won if I wouldn't have ended it. So, well, I could quit screen sharing for one. And we'll say thanks again to everybody for watching and listening. I'll figure out with G23. Unless you got something you really want, I'll just throw some extra stuff in because I've got a thing to send you anyway. And I was going to double up or triple up what you grabbed from the gift certificate last couple weeks back from the R&L Displays event that we had, that Gizzard Gary show. Thanks for participating in that. And then send Roy a Pumpkinhead. I think I may have something going to Roy. I don't remember if something already went to Roy, but I do have some stuff to send out to people. So if there was more people would be mad and butthurt. But again, it's not about the prizes. Hopefully, eventually I'll get some prize sponsors or something, and maybe we'll have prizes that people can get all mad about. But when you don't have giant prizes, people don't get all butthurt that they didn't win. Hopefully it's just for fun and something that people can look forward to. I don't know. Or at least pass some time with on a Wednesday. But again, thanks to our Patreons. I have a scroll going whenever I remember, which is almost always at the bottom of our live streams. These live streams, take an hour or more. So it took me a little while to set up the quiz, even though it wasn't super produced. I don't just copy and paste this stuff from some quiz website. I go out and find all the stuff and try to make it interesting. And so that takes some time. Recording the show takes a little bit of time. The after stuff will take some time. And all that time is possible thanks to the Patreons. This isn't an effort to play the recipes or to play the formulas that get you, the compensation on the internet. These are to further and make palatable some of the stuff that's, otherwise just kind of dry. So again, appreciate the people that show up and participate. We'll continue to do it as long as possible. Tomorrow is going to be weird. I had planned on doing something, and well, let's just say this week got weird again. But I planned on offering my presentation to Gun Rights Policy Conference, but they don't want my presentation, and I didn't finish it because they didn't want it. And, it's not a priority. So I was planning on doing that tomorrow. If I can finish it, I will, but I'm not going to promise nothing. Eventually that'll show up, and we'll do something tomorrow. And then Friday, we look back at the week. What I do have going on tomorrow is a conversation with Toby from Cape Gunworks in the afternoon. So not a nighttime show like this, but an afternoon. Well, afternoon for me, evening for East Coast. And that'll be concentrating, focused on Massachusetts gun laws. Maybe that'll be the beginning of another series. We'll find out. But refers to his gun laws during his shows, and they're complex, and there's a lot of them. So not that he's a legal expert or that I, am able to do much about it, but we can spend an hour or so focused on them to give people some insight as to what's happened in Massachusetts. And again, maybe set the tone for another series, maybe a companion to the Tuesday series, where we bring people in from the different states and pick their brain on what it's like to live there and deal with the infringements and the situations. Again, thanks to the people that make it possible for us to do what we do. We're going to end with a commercial for our store. We do sell stuff at our Gear website store. We also have eBay over there. And we appreciate your support.
Hey, did you know that you could help support our future projects and let everyone know you're a fan of what we do? Check out our print-on-demand store. We have a tab here on YouTube. When you click on it, you can choose from a bunch of different items. We have shirts and posters and coffee mugs. Click on the one you like. When you find the design you want to put on it, choose a color and a size if it's appropriate. And when you purchase these items, a portion goes to help fund our future projects. We really do appreciate your support. You get some cool stuff. When you get that stuff, post pictures here and on other platforms, and we'll hook you up next time you order from our Gear website store. Thank you for your support of gunwebsites.com.
Episode, nobody beats the house.
So let us know what you think. We'll be watching the comments wherever you find the video, over on gunstreamer.com or on guntube.org.
Thank you for supporting our projects. If you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee, check out our Patreon channel.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourages you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thank you for watching gunwebsites.com.
I'm going to just drop a link to the mouse party over here. So that if anybody wants to jump over, you can just scoot right over to mouse party number 26. Will they be talking about Glock 26s? Probably not, because people hate Glock 26s.